Yes. I think that your approach of the 3C activation course to make sure that the customer's life is sustainable, that they have all the right, everything, the right beliefs, the right habits, the right note-taking posture, everything they need to be successful, you made sure we absorb that first so that when we would go to coach our attention deficit hyperactive disorder clients, we could both speak from experience and we could also model how to be successful. This course was far more focused on the science of ADHD, the brain, the dopamine receptors, the things you could do to reward yourself to get more dopamine, what part of the brain was being affected, the prefrontal cortex, all that was covered every lesson, really. So that was a main focus that was different from the first one I took. There was a really conscious community vibe that you put into place by everybody got a body double, a person in the class to work with to do their homework. And we had a Facebook group and we had a WhatsApp group. And so there was a community being formed here of attention deficit coaches. And I found that helpful in reinforcing what I was learning, but also my body double partner, Keely Deneen, is like one of my tribe. She gets me because she's struggling / thriving in the same atmosphere. So we could reinforce each other. But that community, the conscious choice of the community, not just letting it happen, but making it happen, was different. I use everything. But I was especially going to use, we have some exercises that were unique to your course. The one on time wasters, for you to identify what your time wasters are, and then come up with a plan to not let them rule you, not let you go off and follow that squirrel. Or we talked about a dopa menu where you would create a page. One page is a magic thing, so you can put it up on your bathroom mirror or in your car, wherever you do what you do, where we could write down methods we had learned about in class, as well as some of our own discoveries of what works for us. And so this dopa menu was a way to say, when I'm stuck or procrastinating, I can go to this piece of paper and get some ideas on how to make it better. The strengths part of your course was really strong. You suggested that we call people and ask them what our strengths were. And I know not everybody did that, but I did 4 times. And that's a real uplifting kind of exercise because people tell you what they think you're good at. Who wouldn't want to hear that? And then every phone call I made, I told the other person, my brother, my sister-in-law, my friends, what I thought they were good at, and to edify and uplift them and make them own what they're really good at. So there's a lot of a lot of good material done in different ways that I'd seen it before. Well, the other program I took that was the longest did not pair people conscientiously and on purpose. We certainly networked among each other, and on 6 months of phone calls, you would get to know people pretty well. So this was what I was trying to say was the 3C activation way was very intentional. It was very intentional, informed, and planned for us to make this community. It wasn't like I had to go make it myself. Yes, it turned out to be great because it helped me. I was at a crossroads where I was about to retire and I needed to structure the second half of my life to do the nonprofit volunteering and coaching and consulting I wanted to do. So it actually turned out that this course and its timing was perfect for me. And I think that 3 months is enough to go in, get the material, get some new habits, be able to reproduce them in other people, learn how to coach, because we certainly learned by having you coach us during class as well.
Sure. And I know you had mentioned earlier that you enjoyed the coaching observations of me observing your coach calls.
Absolutely.
Getting that feedback.
Yes. And yes. I had this 20 years of career coaching, and in the environment I was in the state system, most of the customers that came through the door really did not know what to do. They needed guidance, and I was happy to provide it. And that is one method of interacting with a customer, but the attention deficit coaching community is more coaching based, not consulting based. So your observations of my coaching style helped me to see that I was very directive, and it was natural coming out of what I came out of. And what I wanted to do is move more towards more questions, a miracle goal of having the customer talk 51% or more than me. So yes, those observations in real time were helpful in terms of learning how to be a better coach. I think people that already are coaches are a great set of people to take it, because if they don't have attention deficit disorder of any kind or symptoms or children with it, they may not understand the full spectrum of the abilities, challenges, and ways to help people with it. So if you're already a coach, if you're already a consultant, to be able to serve another community makes a lot more sense. If you already find yourself coaching your friends anyway and want to be in your free time and on your phone calls, and you want to be more effective at it, then this is a good course for you to get some grounding in coaching techniques and things that people will struggle with from attention deficit disorder. And oh, guess what? People who are in all walks of life, whether they are neurotypicals or neurodifferent or differently abled, we all have time wasters. We all have projects that need to be broken down into smaller parts so we can get through them. We all have strengths and we all have values. And those lessons, those exercises in your course, I can apply to anyone. They don't have to have ADD as a diagnosis for me to help them. So it was more universally able to be applied than I realized at the front.
With that ADHD lens of the neuroscience behind it and why it's effective for ADHDers. But yeah, it definitely can be applied for those even without ADHD, for sure.
Yes, and I remember telling you that in the course and going, hey, we're not limited to just the community of attention deficit people, students, adults, whatever. We can help anybody with those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
So I was grateful to find that out.
Who would you say the course is not for?
Some people are really not meant to be instructed in a Zoom method. They're not really online kinds of learners. They're more brick and mortar board. They'd rather be in the classroom with the bricks and the walls they can see and touch. So a person has to discern whether an online course really meets their needs or not. So if you really do better in a classroom setting, in a class seat somewhere and the teacher's in front of you, then this may not be your ideal format, but a lot of people can adapt to that. I would say that people who have never coached before in their lives ever, not even had coaching themselves, they'll still learn a lot, but they'll still need to add some coaching technique, like some
life
ICF
coaching
units. Yes. Because coaching is guess what, folks? It's better for people who are older because you have more experience to offer. So I think it's great to have a chance to have been schooled or exposed to several different techniques. I think that makes you a more well-rounded counselor, more well-rounded coach to help people. There are a lot of people that need help in this world, and sometimes they just need listened to. But most times, if you hear them talk about the same subject over and over, you're eventually going to want to move from just letting them vent to you to assisting them in trying to break through into a different paradigm, a different shift where they're more affected and more confident. Confident is very important. People need to be confident. So I just want people to recognize that this course helps in all of those ways. It will help your friends, it will help your customers, it will help your coachees to have more help because you're more skilled now.
If you had to do it all over again, is this the program you would do?
Now, you introduced some doubt in my head because I haven't researched every single program, but I liked what I got when I got it. And I think that if you don't know Brooke well, you don't know that she's a continuous learner and she's constantly improving her course and she makes her resources available forever. So yes, it was definitely the right one for me at this time, but I think it's a very strong 3-month intensive study on how to do coaching for that spectrum of people that need it and people who don't need it, don't have that spectrum.